So Robert, you never were a judge advocate in the military, right?
That's correct. I went into the military out of high school, and I never had gone to college. I never gone to law school. I was not licensed to be an attorney.
And you were a paralegal, and you spent all of your time as an enlisted soldier.
That is correct. I was from the start to the end. I was an enlisted soldier the whole time.
And what was your rank when you got out?
I was a sergeant when I got out, E5.
An E5. And how many years did you spend in the military?
A little over 6 years.
Okay. So you've got that military experience of being an enlisted soldier and then putting yourself through undergraduate and law school, right?
That's correct.
Okay. One of the reasons that you came to work with the law office of William Helixon was to bring that unique perspective of only an enlisted soldier to the table.
That's correct. And as being an enlisted soldier, I understand what the enlisted soldier deals with, the deployments, the family consequences, the financial part of that. Not to say that officers don't deal with those, but it's nice to have someone that has gone through that they can relate to.
Right. Even if some of those officers who were enlisted first and then became officers, they've been influenced by the officer culture, correct?
That's correct.
And you've not been influenced by officer culture.
That's correct. And now as I'm out, I can understand some of the officer culture too, because I'm out, but my whole experience in the military was all enlisted and understanding what the enlisted person deals with.
Right. And what are some of the differences that you think between being an enlisted soldier and being an officer?
So I think some of the biggest differences is just the sort of the time commitments. A lot of demands on enlisted individuals that they have to give to be in the military. And not to say that officers don't commit the same amount of time, but the enlisted soldier is there a lot and has a lot of requirements. I remember I had to do color guard. I had to do other events that my officer, the JAG officers, weren't participating in. We had soldier requirements, firing a weapons qualification, had to do classes. We had classes, I think, once a quarter that some of the officers were not required to do, even though they were in the same unit. And so there is some differences in the two.
Right. So this is interesting probably to people who don't know us, but you were a paralegal in 1993 when I was a paralegal in 1996, right? So we were both paralegals at the same time, both 71 Deltas at the time, now 27 Deltas. But I understand exactly what you're talking about, those time commitments. I remember when I was in the brigade level, I was a non-commissioned officer, a corporal working at the brigade, and I remember the adjutant, and I remember, the master sergeant who was in charge were like, oh, the corporal lawyer's gonna go out and mow the lawn today. Oh, the corporal lawyer needs to wash the windows, and so the things that I had to do that had nothing to do with my military service, like you said, color guard, road marches, Thursday soldiers training, the hey you taskings, someone needs to vacuum, someone needs to move this desk from one office to another office, someone has to move the law books. We were the persons that did that. It wasn't the officers.
That's correct. I remember doing we call the fire guard, you have overnight duty that some officers had to do. I will tell you that we officers have some requirements of the JAG office. We had an officer on duty, but that was different than you're on fire guard. So you're there the whole night, you're working, you're there the whole night, and it's not a part of being a paralegal. It's not a part of, you're away from your family. You're doing things that is not within that realm of the law practice.
Right, and I'll tell you this. Some of the officers in the JAG Corps mail in their military requirements, right? We had to, as an enlisted soldier, go from station to station to station to meet our military requirements, our marksmanship, our PT, our responsibilities for road marches, our responsibilities to maintain height and weight, and our fitness levels, and all the military skills that we had to have and to constantly be trained on it. It's not the same once you're an officer.
Correct. I remember we did a lot of medical training, and I doubt I'm able to use it now when I'm with my kids, but I don't remember a lot of officers being in those types of training, or landmine training, or clay mine training, and all that. Yeah, none of that stuff was stuff that the officers were there. They were interested in it sometimes, but they weren't required to know that stuff.
Right. Now, we're not saying that the officers aren't significantly trained in these areas, or some of them aren't really cool type of officers, but we're saying it's just a different life as an enlisted soldier. And that's what you bring to the table.
That's correct. That's correct.
We are the law office of Will M. Helixon. We are your warrior advocates. You defend the nation. We defend you.